welcome to Sunday Journal. I'm Grady Culhane. Today I'm joined by a guest from Harwich Police. Do you mind introducing yourself for our audience?
Sure, I'm Deputy Chief Kevin Considine of the Harwich Police Department.
Awesome, and thank you so much. We recently heard that you were nominated for a very special position. Do you mind kind of outlining that for our listeners?
Sure, I was nominated to participate in the World Games, the torch run, the law enforcement torch run at the World Games in Berlin, Germany, mid-June. So very excited for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how, I have so many questions, but starting first is just how do you, how does that process go? How do you get chosen? Do you have to make yourself available somehow by registering? Is there some kind of a test even? Just what goes into that?
Yeah, so in Massachusetts there's a group of law enforcement officers who participate in the law enforcement torch run. So their main goal is to raise funds and awareness for Special Olympics Massachusetts. So all the funds that police officers raise throughout the year go strictly towards Special Olympics Massachusetts. That helps them with uniforms, hall rentals, gymnasium rentals, equipment, all of that. So I've been involved in the law enforcement torch run for about 11 years now. And over the last few years, I got onto the Leadership Council up in Special Olympics, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
So the Leadership Council is about 15 officers from around the state and Special Olympics staff. And our job is just to facilitate all the other officers around the state, which is hundreds of them, that put on fundraising events every year, every day, every week of the year to raise funds. And our job is just to support them. So typically how the nomination process works for the World Games is you have to apply, and typically they look at those that are either very, very active in law enforcement torch run or on the Leadership Council.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, I mean, as well, just how does it feel, essentially? What was your first reaction, and how are you feeling now?
It's I've known for a while. We just recently announced it, but it's just it was blown away by the opportunity to do this. I know a lot of officers from our Leadership Council and that are very active in law enforcement that have done this in the past, and they say it's truly a life-changing event, where you're one of 100 officers chosen from around the world to go run the torch into the World Games, where all these great athletes are competing, and that's why we do it, is for the athletes.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm assuming it's just been a little painful having to keep that buried down, secret on the low for a while now, but it's great that you're able to talk about it, and it sounds like it's a wonderful opportunity, as well as maybe to show off for the local police departments, essentially. Harwich, you're on Cape Cod.
Yeah, absolutely, and we, I'm also the Barnstable County local representative for law enforcement torch run, and my job is to assist all the great officers locally, from P-Town to Bourne, that are out there doing different types of fundraising events, polar plunges, tip-a-cops, our torch run that we do, which is coming up in May. My job is just to support them, and they're out there doing great stuff, volunteering their time for these athletes, and it's just, yeah, it's the amount of good work officers are doing across the Cape and across the world for Special Olympics is just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about logistics? Are you going to have to, like, do you need to train? Are you going to be, when are you going to be flying out there? Like, what goes into it?
Yeah, I've been running a lot. And running is, I'll admit, running is not my strong suit. But been running a lot in the last 6 to 8 months since I was told I was going. And logistics-wise, is Special Olympics Massachusetts organizes everything from the flights out there. Once we get out there, everything is very strict and organized by Law Enforcement Torch Run International. You know, we're staying right in Germany in a hotel, and what's nice is we have a small knit team of 10 officers. There's 100 officers total, but there's 10 on each team. And we've been communicating over an app for months and just getting to know each other, and because we're going to be spending a lot of time with each other.
That's understandable. So, I mean, there's this whole other layer as well, and I know you're not necessarily responsible for transport, but we have the COVID-19 pandemic that really changed the way transportation works in big events like this. Do you know of ways, like, are you going to have to get tested before you go? Are they going to keep you in specific locations? Like, how does that play in?
No, and in fact, we found out a couple months ago that they were kind of struggling with that, right?
Sure.
Whether they were going to require vaccination, whether they were going to require anything. They're not requiring anything. And in fact, we're sharing, there's 2 people to a room and sharing a hotel room. And so that's kind of exciting compared to what we've dealt with over the last number of years. We've had a lot of events canceled, fundraising events canceled over the years. In fact, our Polar Plunge in Harwich, our very first one 3 years ago, was canceled the week before the pandemic hit. So, thrilled that everything is getting back to normal in a sense, and which is really important for these athletes. These athletes need that sense of community, being together, working as a team. That group of athletes with intellectual disabilities really struggled during the pandemic, so it's great to see them back and giving high fives to them.
Yeah, it sounds almost like it's a little bit of an achievement, essentially, a celebration of being able to do stuff like this again.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You mentioned as well some of the other stuff that Harwich does. Do you mind kind of highlighting some of the other fundraisers you're involved in more detail?
Yeah, I'd love to. We at Harwich Police are always very active with community policing. We always have been. This is just one little part that we do that I'm involved with. I recently took over last year, in fact, the Cape Cod Torch Run, which takes place on May 24th. It's been going on for 10 plus years. Chief Ron Facette in Wellfleet used to be involved in it, and then I took over when he retired. That is a torch run to just raise awareness. It starts in Provincetown at 4:30 in the morning, and it runs down 6A and Route 6 all along to Bourne, which is about 70 miles. And all day, officers, whether it's police officers, firefighters, town workers, run each length of their town. And they have the torch, and they pass it to the next town, who runs their length of town. That's a great event, and what's good about that is so many officers can get involved. So that's coming up May 24th. Our big event in Harwich is the Polar Plunge. Last year was our first true Polar Plunge. We raised nearly $40,000.
Wow.
We had a great turnout from our community. This past winter, we did our third one, $44,000 raised. And in fact, one special key part of that is the recruits from the Plymouth Police Academy came down. Those recruits, and we have one officer in that class, and many Cape departments have officers training right now, raised nearly $25,000 just their class. So
Wow.
Truly amazing.
That is fantastic. I mean, a lot of fantastic events going on, raising awareness and raising funds as well. Very clearly, we're not lacking for cardio training when it comes to our Cape Cod first responders. But in real talk, it is a fantastic way to raise awareness, and congratulations. Is there more plans going forward, or is there any ways that people can get involved in this for this year as well?
Absolutely. On our press release was a website, and people can log right into that. And really see what this World Games is all about. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. It happens every other year, alternating between summer and winter, and there's great Special Olympic athletes competing, and we're just happy to be one small part of that. And in fact, Law Enforcement Torch Run program internationally has been around since 1980. It was started in Kansas, and it raised a couple $100 that year. Since its inception in 1980, it has raised almost $1 billion. And in fact, all of our Massachusetts officers last year raised nearly $400,000. So we're very proud of what we do, and again, we do it for the athletes. When we see the smiles and the high fives these athletes give us, these athletes love police officers. They absolutely adore us. The least we can do is support them and raise funds for them, and in turn, it makes us feel happy, and of seeing their reaction is just amazing.
That is fantastic. So people can follow your journey essentially. I assume you're going to be posting pictures and stuff like through Harwich PD online or anything
Yeah,
like that?
absolutely. Follow us on our Harwich Police Facebook page. and that website on our press release, and they can follow us our whole journey that week.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
While I still have you, do you have anything else you wanted to highlight for our listeners who might be tuning in, just things going on in Harwich, or anything else you really want to make sure that our listeners are aware of related to some of the things going on in the community lately?
Yeah, no, we just, obviously we're getting ready for the busy summer season.
Right.
And we expect a busy summer here on the Cape, and every police department, but especially us, are looking forward to the summer and getting ready for a busy, great summer on Cape Cod.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, and congratulations again. This is Sunday Journal, and thank you for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you.